How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Just Nobody's Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm your host, Daniel.
And today we're doing a podcast.
Woo!
If you're new to the channel, please smash the subscribe button or click it and comment what you guys want us to talk about next week. Thank you for watching. Let's get into the podcast.
Okay, so today we're going to go through everything Thunderbolts and also Doomsday set photos and footage. Now, if you haven't seen Thunderbolts, you could kind of just skip to the Doomsday part. And if you have seen Thunderbolts, there's going to be spoilers, so just beware. First thing we're going to talk about is Doomsday set photos. Now, we already talked about this on TikTok. We have seen that Agbo and the Russo brothers have posted Victor Von Doom's casting chair, and it looks like this could be inside the X Mansion. The walls and the floor look very similar to the architecture in the X Mansion.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that Victor Von Doom will be visiting the X Mansion.
I do think, yes. Victor Von Doom obviously is going to be in the X Mansion.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the X Mansion.
I mean, when you guys look at it and you guys compare it to the X-Men footage, like the original X-Men, it looks very similar. Like the dark wood and like the kind of cutouts in the walls, it looks very similar to like an X-Mansion type building. Now, we've also seen a photo of James Marsden and Ian McKellen kind of walking together and they're talking. This could be outside that mansion. You know, like it could all tie in together. Like they're right now, they are filming the X-Men portions of the movie. So it like could all tie in together. Like all these set photos of possibly the X Mansion, it's all coming out now because they might be filming the X-Men portion of the movie.
I think too, when you look at like the X-Men movies, if you look at like X-Men 2, there's a lot of scenes inside the X-Mansion and you could kind of tell like the chair against the wall and the flooring, it looks very similar to what we've seen in the movies. And I really think that the Russo brothers are notorious and they're known for like kind of like sneaking in like little Easter eggs in their social media posting. So that's why I really think that they are in the X-Mansion, because they could have easily just took that photo of the chair and like put it against like a studio wall, like a plain wall, and not have anything, right? But there's a reason why it's on that flooring against that wall. There's like more to it. It's not just here's a random spot in the studio, let's post this part. There's a reason why.
Yeah, they leave that breadcrumb trail. They know that that's what people are going to theorize and think about. Another piece of set footage that we've seen is actually like a bunch of like tents in the woods.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people are speculating that this could actually be the mutant camp from X-Men Last Stand. And it's like a variation of that scene. Now, this would kind of make sense because maybe they go back to that time and Doom kind of visits them at that time. We don't know. But it looks like it's the mutant camp because there's a bunch of tents in the middle of the woods. And it kind of looks like the same woods where Wolverine is fighting Spike.
Yeah.
It looks exactly the same.
The reason why I think this is true is because of this. I think there's a chance that when they encounter this version of the X-Men, it's going to be the X-Men Last Stand time period. Yeah. And because what makes sense about that scene is, one, you have all these different X-Men characters in one place, right? There's so many of them. And out of all the X-Men movies, the third movie, when you have this moment in the woods, it is the one scene where it has the most X-Men characters. Now, I think for Marvel, it'd be the easiest way to just kind of go to a moment that people have connection with and kind of can recall and be like, oh my gosh, I remember that scene. And it just so happens that all these X-Men characters are there. And I think this is where it'd be perfect to use this moment to have more X-Men characters in this movie, going to that moment in the previous movies. Also, Ian McKellen is in this movie. And we know Ian McKellen, he's the leader of that group.
Right.
So it would make sense that it could be from X-Men Last Stand.
Yeah. And we also see more footage of what seems like, we can't tell who it is, but it's a person like going into a door with a bag.
Yeah.
Now, it is impossible to figure out whose face this is because the face isn't shown at all. You kind of just see like the side, like back of their face and their back of their head. Now, it kind of looks like, to me, it's RDJ. But a lot of people are speculating that it could be like Tom Hiddleston or it could be Hugh Jackman. Now, I feel like if it was Hugh Jackman, I think the hair would kind of be a little bit more like Wolverine. So I'm thinking it's more of an RDJ. This could be Victor Von Doom. And we're getting more of how Victor is Victor.
It's hard for me to agree with that just because like people would have saw his profile and been able to realize it's RDJ.
Yeah, but they can't figure out anyone. It's like they can't figure out anyone who this could be.
I just don't understand how they can see him walking into this building and no one else saw who it is.
I mean, maybe that's just the camera angle they got and that they just can't see it. I mean, who do you think it is?
It is hard to tell
from
the footage that I have seen. But I have to think that if someone was able to capture that moment, there's got to be other people around that had to have seen that guy walk up to the door.
So do you think then that this is someone completely that hasn't been announced yet? Because if they can't figure out if it's RDJ or like Hugh Jackman, then it needs to be someone that we don't know. Because if they saw them, news would have broke that they saw this person, right? Because technically, if you're saying that they saw them like walking to the door,
Yeah.
they would say that, oh, this is them.
Right. That's why I'm saying, like, I feel like they should have saw that.
Yeah, but they clearly didn't, right?
So
if no news has broken out.
Yeah. So what do you think that means?
I think they genuinely do not know who this is, and we're guessing.
I know that they don't know who it is.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how no one else saw it. How does no one else there not see who's walking up to that door?
That's why it's like we literally don't know who it is. If someone saw it, news would have broke already. That's why I'm saying this could be RDJ or this could be Hugh Jackman. We literally don't know.
Yeah, I guess my whole thing...
The press,
yeah,
maybe they just didn't see it because of the angle.
I think the whole point I'm trying to make here is I guess I'm more in disbelief that no one saw it.
Okay,
that's what I'm trying to get.
So if you're going off that logic, then
yeah,
it should be someone that we completely have no idea who it is. It should be a cast member that we don't even know what actor this person is.
So you're saying like it's like a no-name actor?
Yeah, because you're saying that someone should have saw it.
I personally think so. If someone is able to capture that footage and to know that this is Doomsday,
yeah,
right? Like if they know it's Doomsday and they see this scene being shot, how does no one else see it too?
Right.
Is that not making sense? Please in the comments. If you're making it, you're in this moment right now, please understand what I'm saying. I'm just saying this, that it's more so baffling to me. I'm not saying who it is or whatever. I'm just saying that it's just shocking to me that if this person was able to capture this moment of them right up to the door, opening it, how is there not footage of them walking up to the door?
Because they clearly just didn't get it.
Do you guys understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying that, like, it's weird how this one person has this footage.
Yeah, it is weird.
How's there no other people filming this?
Right time, right place. Okay, so moving on into the Thunderbolts now. So we saw this movie a week before the actual release. And guys, it is great. This episode is going to come out after it's released to the public, but this movie is great. I mean, it's definitely one of the best Marvel movies in a long time. The performances each actor gave was incredible, but you can definitely tell Florence Pugh definitely takes the role as like leader of the Thunderbolts.
Yes.
I mean, the heart she gave, you could tell that this movie has so much good action, so much good emotion, so much good like humor. It was definitely funny, and they tie in the humor with the emotion very well. But
it's definitely the darker side, like more real, like a Marvel story, because like it deals with mental health.
Yeah,
there's a lot of relatable topics that we don't usually see superheroes deal with, and I think that's what was so refreshing to see in Avengers movie or like a Marvel movie.
Yeah, and we also see like we get to see this like broken team just come together and pull off something insane. I also want to talk about Sentry though. Louis Pullman did a great job as Bob/Sentry/Void. Now, I personally wish we did see more of Sentry, because we do get some of Sentry and we see him like fight the Thunderbolts, but it was like short-lived.
Yeah.
Because it was short-lived because right after that scene, it's basically all we get is Void. Right. Now, Void was a very menacing character. I thought they did a very good job. It was insane what he did to New York. My only question is, where is Spider-Man and Daredevil during this?
Yeah.
That's what I really wonder, because does that mean they're kind of like sucked into the Void too, if they're in New York? Because it's like he almost took over all of New York.
Right.
So it kind of makes you wonder, where were they? Did that happen to them? I wonder if they're going to have like a nod to it, like Spider-Man and Daredevil kind of have this moment like, did you experience that too? It was like, did you see that coming?
Obviously the contract thing, right? Like Spider-Man obviously was like, if Marvel owned the rights, completely owned the rights to Spider-Man, I'm sure he would be in a lot more, but I think the whole Sony issue.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of is starting to be weird to like have moments like this where a huge threat hits New York and Spider-Man's not going to try to come and help.
Right.
So that's why I hope Marvel and Sony can like figure out an agreement that like allows Spider-Man to coexist better.
Yeah. Oh, I also want to bring up a point about Daredevil.
Okay.
About kind of like that issue. So at the ending of Daredevil Born Again Season 1, now when he's kind of like talking, he's kind of going through like, we need an army and everything, like army's coming or something. People are pointing out, you could subtly hear Spider-Man's theme playing within the music that's playing. And
For real?
For real. Like you can kind of hear subtle notes of the Spider-Man theme song playing very slowly though. So it's kind of hard to spot. But once you start listening to like the Spider-Man theme and then you go back and listen to that scene, you can kind of tell it's hinting at Spider-Man.
Wow.
So technically, Spider-Man 4 will possibly have Daredevil and Spider-Man team up.
Oh, that's what could be like the connection.
I think they're trying to link that a little bit, because I do think Spider-Man 4 will have Daredevil.
Oh.
Going back to Thunderbolts, now let's talk about the ending, okay?
Yeah.
We finally get what the asterisk means.
Yes.
And it kind of confirms your theory how it's like the Dark Avengers, West Coast Avengers, right? It is like that whole thing of it being another Avengers team. And we get confirmation that It is the new Avengers.
It was so funny when we were watching it in the theater, like right when this happens and they're with Val and they go behind the curtain. I'm like, oh my gosh. I told you, I'm like, they're the Avengers.
Yeah.
They're going to be the Avengers.
Yeah, Ryan literally whispered to me, he's like, it's the Avengers.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
And then she goes, here we have the new Avengers.
Yeah, so it was literally like such like a mind-blowing moment, but I feel like we all kind of knew that it was coming, that this was going to be the next version of Avengers.
It was so funny. We did an Andor content day shoot, and we were talking to one of the guys that like was building the set for the content day, and he was like, "Guys, like I did the press day for Thunderbolts, and they literally ruined the movie for me because they spoiled everything."
Yeah.
And he said that like I now know like what the asterisk means.
Yeah.
And he goes, "It's shocking." He said like I was like, "How shocking?" He goes, "It's very shocking."
Yeah, so we see, like, after they announce them as the new Avengers, we see that the press is kind of split between liking them or not.
Yeah.
Half the world kind of hates this idea. Half the world loves it, right? They're kind of this torn between if they're going to be able to help or not. I mean, clearly, they were able to save all of New York. So I think it's safe to say that. Come on, this is like a valid team.
I think it was so cool to watch the credits, too, like, when you see them in Time Magazine, and you see just how, like, the world is adapting to the new Avengers and having them on, like, cereal boxes and all these different news spots. And, like, it was kind of like a cool credit sequence because like there's actually a story being told while these images are coming up.
Right.
Like that kind of shows how like they are becoming the Avengers.
Yeah. And what's interesting about this, there has been a new Avengers comic series. It has nothing to do with this new Avengers team because the new Avengers comic is like way out of what this could be. But yeah, let's get into the post-credit scenes. Okay. Now, the post-credit scenes, as we know, guys, this is freaking insane.
Yeah, one of the craziest Marvel post-credit scenes that we've had in a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, so the first post-credit scene isn't much. I mean, it's just Red Guardian going to the market. You see the Thunderbolts on the Wheaties box, which he mentions earlier in the movie. He's like, wouldn't it be so cool over on the Wheaties box and stuff? We see him shopping for Wheaties, and he's like trying to get people to notice that he's the Red Guardian.
And he has a new haircut.
And
he's more clean cut here.
He is more clean cut. I think he has
got
grills
together.
too. Yeah. We see that this doesn't mean much. It kind of just shows like the evolution of the Thunderbolts and the new Avengers now and how they've transitioned into this new role and this new team. But the second post-credit scene, guys, the second post-credit scene.
Yes.
I was literally speechless. Now, it was crazy how I figured out kind of what it was.
Yeah, this was actually insane.
So after the first post-credit scene, I was watching the credits and I was watching where the music part of the credits is, like who wrote the music for the movie. Now, in the credits, you could read that under the music, it says Fantastic Four First Steps theme. And I remember reading that and looking at Ryan, I'm go, why was the Fantastic Four First Steps theme in it? And then he goes, it's the next post-credit scene. So then we were watching this next post-credit scene and we see like it's 14 months have gone by.
Yeah.
The new Avengers have their new suits. We see Bucky mentioning that he was trying to talk to Sam about this new Avengers team and Sam's not having it and he's like kind of pissed off, right?
Yeah.
We then see Yelena kind of mention this space crisis and that we get an alert that something has entered the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Right? Now they asked to get like a satellite visual look at this and then they talk some more. We see Sentry or Bob kind of just sitting in the corner and they're like mentioning how Bob really can't use his powers anymore because he can't be Sentry without the void coming out sometime.
Right.
So he's very dangerous. The signal finally comes through and they're watching this scene and you could literally see the Fantastic Four ship entering Earth 616. Now, this is absolutely insane. I mean, the shock factor of that post-credit scene, we haven't had that in Marvel in so long. Like, it is absolutely crazy what we saw and the excitement that we felt because we're literally getting confirmation that the Fantastic Four gets multiversal travel and they travel to the 616 universe. And we talked about this on TikTok. It's very clear now that this Fantastic Four team loses.
Yeah.
And they come to this universe after.
Yeah. They're retreating, right? They lost. They're retreating. They're leaving their Earth.
Something that I thought was very interesting in this post-credit scene is that this 14th month like time jump is actually more important than we think. We see that the new Avengers have evolved and they're becoming more of a formal team and they're in like the Avengers Tower is pretty much their headquarters.
Yeah.
We also know that Sam, if he's upset about the new Avengers team, in this 14 months, he has recreated the Avengers and he has now a team.
Oh,
so technically that confirms that Sam Wilson does have an Avengers team and he's gathered people after Brave New World because in Brave New World, he does mention that he's thinking about recreating the Avengers.
Right.
Right. Now, what this also confirms, like I said before, it confirms that Fantastic Four does get multiversal travel. And if there's a space crisis, does that mean that only the Fantastic Four are here? Or is there more of a crisis where there's multiple people coming and possibly the X-Men are on the same timeline and they're coming too? And that's kind of like this huge space crisis, and not just the Fantastic Four is that space crisis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it seems like the space crisis has been going on. It's not like Yelena mentions the space crisis as if it's like we all know it's been happening. We just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, I probably should go check it out again.
Right. So that means it could not just be the Fantastic Four entering. It could be also the X-Men entering or someone else entering. We don't know. It could be anyone. You know what I mean? To be honest, it could be another Fantastic Four team too, like the original Fantastic Four entering.
Oh.
Right? Even though it's like the same ship we see in the Fantastic Four First Steps trailer, there could be another Fantastic Four team coming too. And that's like this whole space crisis. It's in a huge, like almost incursion-ish type of event.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe the space crisis has been going on and a bunch of different heroes have been coming in.
Yeah, and we just don't know.
Right.
Right? Kind of like in No Way Home, where some heroes are like, all of a sudden, I was just in this universe.
Yeah.
Right? It could kind of be like that.
Well, if it's a space crisis, that means they're being like probably coming in, not just appearing.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
But guys, let us know your thoughts on the Thunderbolts post-credit scenes and your theories too, because this is absolutely, I mean, it's insane. We are getting literally like what it's going to be in these next few movies.
Yeah. And also like what you talked about earlier is how like the Russo brothers production company Agbo commented on our reaction to the Thunderbolts about the post-credit scenes. They're like, oh, you caught that.
Yeah.
And it kind of hints at the fact that the Russo brothers may have directed
this second post-credit scene. And possibly, hypothetically, this could be the beginning of Doomsday.
Yeah.
This 14-month time jump, and we see the Fantastic Four coming. This could be the beginning of Doomsday.
And it makes sense, right? Because Fantastic Four will come out.
Yeah.
They're going to lose. They're going to get off their Earth, and they're going to leave.
Right.
And the next movie after that would be Doomsday, right?
Exactly. So that means this is completely after Fantastic Four First Steps, and this is basically the beginning of Doomsday.
Yes.
I mean, it literally it lines up perfectly like that.
Right.
Yeah, but let us know what you guys think. It's going to be crazy. We're super excited. But now let's get into some movie news.
Let's go. Thunderbolts.
Okay. Now, when I read this blew my mind because of the way this took over the universe. So we all know Chicken Jockey.
How did I just had a feeling you're talking about Chicken Jockey. Okay.
So Chicken Jockey, okay?
Yeah.
Warner Brothers
is
now putting out screenings that are fully for like fan experience of Minecraft. Now, this is what it says, okay? Now, it's block party screenings of Minecraft.
Okay.
And they're going to have screenings where fans are encouraged to sing, meme, and talk during the movie. Now, that's what they left it at. But guys, we all know what this means.
Yeah.
They're literally setting up theaters for a huge Chicken Jockey moment. I mean,
I want to go to one.
This is insane.
This is my dream. I've been wanting so bad to go to a theater and see kids go Chicken Jockey.
But yeah, now we are literally getting theaters where they're gonna have this moment dedicated to Chicken Jockey. Now, let us know where in LA we could find this, because Ryan really wants to go.
I do. Warner Brothers, please send the invite. We want to go to Chicken Jockey screenings.
So next up, Ahsoka Season 2 has now started filming. So
nice.
We just had Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah, I know that Hayden Christensen announced that he's returning. I think Dave Filoni's version of Ahsoka was so good. So that's why I hope in Season 2 they really kind of bring back the core values of Ahsoka, the young Ahsoka, and really try to connect it back to the Clone Wars.
I think they need to focus more on that Clone Wars era of Ahsoka and bring back that vibe that a young Ahsoka brought. Even though she's a lot older now, I think we need to go back to what she was and how she kind of acted and how she became this way.
I mean, to be honest with you, just to be completely honest, I think what Ahsoka needs to do, the Ahsoka show I want is actually just young Ahsoka. Yeah. Like, I actually just want what happens after Clone Wars Season 7. Like, when we see Ahsoka, you know what I mean? I'd rather see, like, the in-between stories or wars that, we kind of saw a little bit of in Clone Wars, but, like, do shows, like, around those moments and, like, extend them. Like, there's so many battles that Anakin and Ahsoka were a part of that let's just go back to that, Yeah. I think the actress that played young Ahsoka, I think she was in
Ariana Greenblatt.
Yeah, Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I think she did a phenomenal job capturing the essence of the young Ahsoka, and I think that is where I would want to see a Ahsoka show. I just feel like let's go back to the universe, that timeline of Clone Wars. Like, that would be so cool to see in live action.
Yeah.
We got a taste of it in Ahsoka Season 1, but I think we need to go back to those moments.
Yeah, and it would make sense to have more of those moments and see those moments for longer periods of time and how they affected older Ahsoka, right? That's how you can tie in both, like, kind of give us this, like, half and half. We see how these old battles with Anakin, how these old moments with Anakin kind of reflect on to old Ahsoka, right? We need more of that. How this young Ahsoka turned into this old Ahsoka, and how this old Ahsoka became who she is.
And I get it. Like, we got Rebels, right? We know Rebels, the Rebel stories. Ahsoka's older there. I get that. We've seen it. I'm just saying, though, I just think, for me personally, after seeing what they've done with the live action Ahsoka, I would almost rather them just focus more on the in-between stories of Clone Wars and kind of go back to that. I get it, though. We've seen Ahsoka get old in Rebels.
Yeah.
So, like, I get that. They're going off of that, continuing that story. But for me personally, I would love to go see her be the young Ahsoka again and be in Clone Wars.
Yeah. And I think we definitely need that. We need more of that OG live action because we don't get enough of it, and that's really what people want to see. I mean, we all know how the Hayden Christensen episode broke the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was behind that scene. It was kind of like when Luke returned, right? It was like this whole, we get to see Hayden Christensen back as Anakin, but also kind of like Darth Vader too, and we see him kind of like do this transition.
Right.
And that was like what the Star Wars fans want, I feel like. Another thing I want to talk about, kind of Star Wars related, Revenge of the Sith, right? We have that anniversary.
The re-release. Last weekend.
And it made over $20 million.
I heard it was approaching 30 million.
Yeah, and it makes complete sense. It was one of the highest grossing films this year, and it's a re-release.
And the $20 to $30 million that you're talking about is only for the domestic release.
I think so, yeah.
Domestic, meaning US only. So who knows what it made worldwide.
Yeah, and I wish we got to go see a screening, but it's like sold out.
It's sold out, and we were also in Scotland, which was so awesome.
Yes.
That we can't really talk about right now.
But soon.
Can we talk about it?
Maybe soon.
Can we talk about, we were there for Sans Film Festival.
Yes,
International
that's
Film
what we can talk about. We were there for Sans International Film Festival. Thank you for Agbo and the Russo team for inviting us out there. It was, guys, it's one of the best film festivals out there. It's like so intimate and so, it just has a different vibe. It's so like family oriented. It's like you're part of this big family film festival. I feel like that's why it's so beautiful, because we get to spend time with everybody and everybody's in such close proximity. And like these panels and talks are so intimate, and you get to really feel like you're part of it.
So we saw the movies at the Bayer Theater in St. Andrews, and it's a smaller theater, and it kind of reminded me of like an IMAX screening room, because the way they have the seats structured is like really cool.
Yeah.
And every seat in the theater is a good seat. We saw some really good movies. We saw this movie called The Witches, right?
Witches.
And then we saw this movie called Black Box Diaries. Black Box Diaries was actually a really good movie. I think that movie, I don't know what the process, like the plan is, like in terms of distribution or where it's going to be, but I think it deserves awards. I thought it was very well done.
Very well done.
A very sensitive topic, but
it's one that needs to be talked about.
Oh yeah, 100%. This is like a documentary that can actually alter the future in the best way.
Right.
So I think if you guys haven't seen it, I do recommend you watching it, but I think it is kind of like that trigger warning kind of movie.
Yeah, it's definitely worth watching, and definitely keep an eye out when you guys start seeing news about it, because it is a very good documentary.
And if you don't believe us, it is at a 98% right now on Rotten Tomatoes. So it is very well received.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding.
The proof is in the pudding.
You never heard that? Also, going back to kind of Star Wars news. So Variety actually mentioned that a while ago, there was actually a Palpatine show in the works. Now, I don't know what it was going to be about and what time period it was going to be in, but it was just said that a Palpatine show was in the works at some point, and it's no longer in the works. But is this something that people would want?
I thought it was Palpatine and Darth Plagueis.
Oh, maybe.
If people in the comments could comment if it was Darth Plagueis.
Now, is this something that you, like Star Wars fans, would want now? I think it would be kind of interesting to see, bringing this character back and kind of seeing his evolution and his upbringing, because he's obviously such a pivotal character in the Skywalker saga that I would love to see a live action like Darth Plagueis and Darth Sidious kind of upbringing.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Some more news is that in the Split Fiction live action movie, now if you guys don't know what Split Fiction is, it's a very popular video game right now. Ryan has actually been playing it with his girlfriend Leia.
It's been so good. It's so fun.
Yeah. Sydney Sweeney has been casted in the live action Split Fiction, and John Chu is directing it.
John Chu?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Guys, this is definitely something to get excited about. I mean, John Chu, we all know his creative genius and what he's done in the past and what he's done with Wicked. Guys, I have a good feeling about this. I think it could be very good.
I think John Chu would do a really good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another piece of news is that we got is the Hunger Games. Sunrise on the Reaping has started announcing some cast. Now, this is what we got, okay? Joseph Zada is young Haymitch. Jesse Plemons is Plutarch Heavensby. McKenna Grace is Maisley Donner. And Whitney Peak is Lenore Dove Baird, which is basically the love interest to Haymitch. Now, I personally haven't read the Sunrise on the Reaping book, but I kind of know what it's about.
I mean, to be fair, I think it just came out. It came out a couple weeks ago. this story of Haymitch's games has been told, snippets of it throughout the books.
So, I mean, I'm very excited for this movie. As we know,
Ballad of Songbirds
and Snakes was an incredible movie. And now we're going to get young Haymitch. And I wonder if they're going to have Snow should be older now.
Yes.
So this young Haymitch story is his love interest. I think they go into the games together. And then Haymitch has to end up, winning the game somehow.
Haymitch's games, though, it was the first games, I think, where they had 4 tributes per district.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Compared to just having 2.
Interesting. Now, McKenna Grace, Maisley Donner, is supposed to be an ally of Haymitch in the games, who is also from District 12.
Oh,
same district as Katniss. Now, apparently, Maisley is supposed to be the original owner of the Mockingjay pin.
Oh, that's cool.
Which we know is the craziest symbol for the rebellion, right?
Yeah.
This should be an insane movie. I'm super excited for it. The cast so far looks great.
And I think what Lionsgate has been doing, I could be wrong, because we were gone in Scotland, but I think what Lionsgate Instagram was doing at 7 p.m. every day, they would have a new actor revealed.
Oh.
So it's kind of like how at the end of Hunger Games every day, right? It shows all the tributes that have died, but in this case, every day at 7 o'clock, they've been showing each character as they release.
That's cool. Okay, but moving on to Would You Rathers.
Okay, here we go.
So would you rather have Iron Man's suit and only be able to use it for 10 minutes a day, or have Spider-Man's powers and always have them, but you can only travel a mile away from home?
So a mile away from home.
Yeah, so you have Iron Man's suit and it only has a 10-minute charge period. You can only use it for 10 minutes a day.
Okay.
Or you could be Spider-Man and you could swing all you want all day.
Yeah.
But you only could go a mile away from home.
Let me ask you this. If I choose Spider-Man,
yeah,
and I max out the mile a day.
Yeah.
When I pass the mile, I can't swing anymore. But can I still stick to walls? Can I still have kind of accelerated super strength?
You lose everything within a mile radius of your house.
Okay.
So at that point, you're just a regular human.
How long does it take me to suit up an Iron Man suit? Are we going to do nanotech, or are we going to do the whole process of me getting suited up?
Let's do nanotech.
So I could summon it very fast.
Yeah, but you only have it for 10 minutes.
Now, if I use it for 10 minutes,
if
I use it for a minute, can I retract it and then I have 9 minutes left?
Right.
Oh, dude, Iron Man all day.
Really?
Iron Man nanotech, and I have 10 minutes of it all day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for 10 minutes?
Bro. Yes. If you're telling me that I could use it for 20 seconds here, 30 seconds there, 40 seconds here, 20 seconds there.
Yeah.
Dude, that's great.
I think I would go Spider-Man.
And you can only use it within a mile?
Yeah. Because at least if I'm Iron Man and I possibly lose charge that 10 minutes and I'm just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Dude, it's pointless. At least in that mile radius, I'll always have it. And then when I'm outside that radius, I'm just like a normal guy.
I don't know, guys. I think I would rather do the 10 minutes of Iron Man if you're telling me that I could break up the 10 minutes throughout the day.
Okay. Let us know what you guys think. I'm sticking with Spider-Man. Okay, would you rather have to go on a mission with the Avengers, the Core 6 Avengers, or would you rather have to go on a mission with the Justice League?
Darn, that's tough.
Is it? Is it tough?
Oh, okay, me as a fan?
Yeah.
100% the Marvel Avengers.
Yeah, I'm going Avengers.
All day.
Seems like Justice League has a lot more internal problems with themselves opposed to the Avengers.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm going Avengers all day.
Yeah, I think the Justice League, too much drama, man. Just work together and fight. Why you gotta have all this drama?
That's true.
But the Avengers, right? They're just gonna go out and fight together.
Yeah. They know how to put their issues aside.
Yeah.
Tony and Steve, they're cool now.
Okay, would you rather have all of Bruce Wayne's money, but you're not Batman?
Okay.
Or would you rather be Superman, but once one person finds out your identity, you lose your powers forever? Ooh. I think I know what I would pick.
Bruce Wayne's money.
Yep. Bruce Wayne's money. There's too much risk with the Superman thing. I know me, someone's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right?
At least you got the glasses thing going.
I have the glasses.
You could take them off, and I don't have glasses, so I would just be, no glasses all the time.
Yeah. So, someone's going to figure it out. Think about this. If you're Superman, right? And there's a Batman, Batman's going to find out that you are Clark Kent.
Yeah. And plus with Batman's money, you can build a Superman suit if you want to.
Whoa. You think so?
You
can build Superman powers?
Well, let's talk. Okay, let's back up a little bit. Batman versus Superman. Batman literally has the armored suit.
Technically, yeah.
But you're saying I want to be Batman, though?
Wait, what?
You're saying if I pick Bruce Wayne, I won't be Batman?
No, you won't be Batman. You're just a wealthy billionaire.
Oh.
Yeah. You just have Bruce Wayne's money. But you are not Batman.
I'll go Superman.
What? You're changing?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Once one person finds out Superman is Ryan Omoto,
I mean, shoot,
you have no powers.
That'd be so cool to have Superman's powers.
But nobody can figure out if you're Superman.
Yeah, I still think I would go
Wow.
Superman.
Let us know what you guys think.
I want to live like Superman for a little bit.
Oh, so you're anticipating getting caught.
I'm sure it's going to happen eventually.
Okay, would you rather have the powers of Professor X or the powers of Storm?
Ooh, Storm.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because look at how Professor X his life is pretty rough.
It's pretty.
I know
rough.
both of them have both have hard stories.
Yeah.
But
as far as their powers go,
I think I'd rather have Storm because like Professor X, there's like times where he's like being tortured because of all the sounds he hears and all the voices.
That is true. He just has they're both crazy powerful mutants.
But yeah, I mean, Professor X's powers, if you're asking me, is insane.
I mean, being able to like him being able to like find whoever and be able to contact them wherever they are is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I still go Storm though.
Yeah, I get the whole him being like he can't even take it sometimes. I think you gotta go Storm. And then he technically has like we see in Logan, right? When he has like a seizure, he can kill everyone in his vicinity.
Yeah.
So I think I'd go Storm too.
Yeah, let's go Storm.
And that's it for Would You Rather.
I think it's really interesting what's happening right now in the movie space. How Sinners is crushing it at the box office.
Yeah.
I just think like there's so much like going on in entertainment right now that I'm really excited to see kind of like where it goes. I think the Star Wars, like, this is so random. I'm just talking about like, I saw the Thunderbolts poster over there. I really want to get everyone's input on this. Like, where do you guys see like movies going in the next 10 years? Like, what is it going to look like? Like, we have Chicken Jockey, like people going crazy in the theater, right? And like Warner Brothers is going to have their own theaters for these moments. Like, what is movies going to look like?
Right.
You know, it's going to almost be more of like a sporting event.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. It's going to be more of an experience.
Yeah. Could that mean then 40X is going to be more of a thing in movies? Because 40X, you're really paying for like the experience, right? It's supposed to simulate you like kind of going through the movie.
Yeah.
So is that going to become more of a thing for like these movies? And it's kind of like almost like a ride, like an amusement park ride, where you're paying for the experience of the movie. You're not just paying for the movie. You're paying for the whole experience of like the seats rumbling and you're kind of like going back and forth with it.
Yeah. I don't know if 40X will be the future.
Right.
The reason why I say that is because I don't think 40X is really popular right now.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking like, will 40X become more popular?
Yeah, I don't. You're right. Maybe it does. But I think what I saw.
Well, I don't know. I'm just asking.
With what you're saying about the whole Chicken Jockey thing. Like, if Warner Brothers is going to have a screening of where people can go like talk and be funny and sing along.
Yeah.
That is so interesting. Like, it's like a community experience where 40X, you still got to be quiet.
Right.
It's not like you can like talk and like, do all that stuff. But I do think there's something about the moment of the Chicken Jockey like experience that it's amazing how like theaters are coming together and like collectively freaking out.
You're right.
I think that is going to be the future of trying to capture and collect a moment like that when they are making movies now.
Yeah.
To have
that moment, that Chicken Jockey moment. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Because then you're right, it does turn into like a sporting event. Everybody's waiting for that huge moment in a sporting event where they can just go crazy. Yeah. Kind of like how we have Infinity War, right? When everyone dies and Thanos snaps.
I think more like Endgame. When like Steve Rogers everyone comes in, like that scene. Yeah. I think there's nothing like that.
Right. And then when
I think when in Infinity War, everyone was silent.
Everyone was crying.
Yeah, that was like weird. Right? Like it was like, wow, this like really sucks.
Well, yeah, because everybody was like, our favorite characters just died.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But then, yeah, like in Endgame, when everyone comes back, when Steve Rogers wields Mjolnir, like there was no other feeling like that in a movie theater where you're watching this movie and you're so invested in the story and that moment happens.
Yeah, I think for me, when No Way Home happens, when Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield run in, like being in a theater and people screaming, that was insane.
I know. Like people like getting up out of their seats and literally like running around the theater out of excitement. Yeah. Is insane. I mean, we even brought our parents to like a screening because we're like, you guys have to experience this in the theater. And it was like absolutely insane. They honestly were like so happy to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, but then they were also so excited to see how people were just so happy to see them too.
Yeah, it was such a cool experience. More so like to watch people's reactions to it.
Yeah, so let us know what you guys think. How will the future of movie theaters go, and how will movies have to change to kind of adapt to have that Chicken Jockey moment and have that like that Endgame Infinity War moment? Because everybody wanted to go to those movies to experience it with everyone else, and it kind of brought together the community. Yeah. Right? Like what the Russos did with Infinity War and Endgame, and like the cultural impact that it had to bring the movie community together, it was unlike any other movie. Yeah. Like in the world, like nobody has had a community like that and bring it together with those movies. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, with like a movie experience, there hasn't been anything that's been able to like get people to like collectively cheer like the way Endgame happened. Yeah. Okay, if you could take away one moment in the MCU and erase it from history. Whoa. Would you rather take Iron Man's death and remove it from Marvel movies? Okay. Meaning he's still alive. Oh. Or preventing Steve Rogers from returning the stones.
Whoa.
And seeing how that story would unfold.
Okay. So if Steve Rogers never returned the stones, the timeline would completely break down.
Right.
And somehow either Doctor Strange would have to fix it somehow. All the Avengers would have to go on like this crazy mission to try to fix it. Incursions, all this crazy stuff. TVA breakdown.
Yeah.
Now, if Tony Stark never died, that could be dangerous too because of the whole theory of Doctor Strange needed Tony to die because of him figuring out time travel. Because if he figured out time travel, he could go to all these different timelines and mess them all up. Yeah. Another like multiversal breakdown, but it's like a timeline breakdown. So both have pros and cons.
Yeah.
It's just what story would I want to see?
Right.
I think I would want to see Tony go through all the timelines and try to fix them.
Assuming that's what he decides.
Assuming that's what he would do.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what he would do because if he finds out time travel, right, he's going to go in and try to fix his mistakes. Because that's what Tony does, right? He learns from his mistakes and he tries to fix them.
But I don't see him going back in time, though.
Maybe not back in time.
Yeah.
But I could see him going to the future and trying to figure out what happens in the future so he could prevent it in the present.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
He's going to try to go fix what could possibly happen and mess up what could possibly happen.
Yeah.
So that's where I think I would want to see it. Like, I want to see Tony do something.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because then everyone's going to be like, all the Avengers are going to be like, what are you doing? And it's just fixing another Tony Stark problem together.
And then boom, he becomes Doctor Doom, right? Maybe so.
Which one would you pick?
I would love to see what would happen if Tony Stark didn't die. And I think that if Tony Stark didn't die, I don't think Marvel would like do the whole like he's going to go try to fix a bunch of timelines. I think they would just like have him live with Morgan. But it would just allow Iron Man to still be in the MCU.
I see.
I don't think they would do that. Unless that's what the story they wanted to tell. But I think the story that they would want to tell is probably have him around and use him occasionally when there's like certain heroes and villains that they want to see him interact with.
But see, if he's not around, right, and they go this whole thing where Iron Man's just somewhere in the universe always, that really affects Tom Holland's Spider-Man. But if he stays around and he's like causing all these issues and potentially like messing up everything, he kind of does still play a role in Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Because it's like his mentor goes crazy. Right. He kind of, in a way, he loses his mentor still because he's messing so many things up and he's losing his mind.
That's a good storyline.
Right. But if he's just in it, Tom Holland doesn't have a huge loss.
Yeah.
Right. And that relationship, if Iron Man is just in the MCU still and he doesn't die, there needs to be more mentorship from Tony Stark to Spider-Man during the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah. That'd be interesting, huh?
Yeah. So I think if they go like that timeline route, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, guys, if you made this far in the podcast, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please smash the subscribe button and also hit the like button and comment what you guys want us to talk about next week. And also comment some of your like opinions on these would you rathers or news or whatever you guys felt you had an opinion about. So let us know. And we'll see you guys tomorrow on TikTok, and we'll see you guys next week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
We'll see you on TikTok.
God bless you guys. See ya.
Love ya.